Yoga changed everything about my life. Before I started practicing yoga, I was not a morning person. I was a sleep-in person. To be honest with you, I'm still not a morning person. But yoga changed me, which means that if I didn't have my practice, I would just sleep in immediately again. Every time I get a day off, I sleep in, and I love it. But that's definitely changed. Sleeping in used to be much later than it is now. So the yoga practice is traditionally done early in the morning. Now, I'll tell you how my life changed. I didn't mean for my life to change. I really just wanted to do the practice like twice a week. When I first started practicing, that's really all I wanted. I thought 2 days a week yoga, I could still have entertainment on the weekends. Life is good. Well, I was able to do that for a little while, and then I went to a traditional Mysore-style Ashtanga yoga practice, and I did one class. And at the end of that class, it was in the morning. And I remember I set like 5 alarms. I had to get myself there at 7:30 in the morning. It felt so early for me. And here I am. I got to class. I didn't make it at 7:30, to be honest with you. I was a little late. But I arrived, and I felt like, yes, this is wonderful. I finished the class, and the teacher came up to me, and he said, this class meets 6 days a week, and you can come at 8. And I felt like, I really only wanted to come Tuesday and Thursday, and I was really hoping for around 9:30, but 8 o'clock, 6 days a week. And I thought, you know what, let's try it. So immediately my life changed. So now 6 days a week, I need to be on the mat practicing at 8 a.m. This changed what time I went to sleep. This changed when I eat. This changed what I could do in the evenings, when I could have all forms of entertainment. So my whole life changed, and I didn't even really mean for it to happen. But from one day to the next, I started practicing 6 days a week at 8 o'clock, and the more I practiced at 8 o'clock, the more I felt like, wow, I'm changing what time I sleep, I'm sleeping better, my body is feeling better, my mind is feeling better, I want to keep practicing. Less than a year after that first Ashtanga yoga class, I found myself in India practicing with the living masters of the tradition, who are my teachers, Pattabhi Jois and his grandson, Ashtangis Jois. And I'm so glad that I did, because that also changed my life. I never wanted to be a yoga teacher. I just wanted to be a student. Started practicing there. Within a few weeks of practice, they told me that I needed to show up at, you're not going to believe this, unless you're practicing Ashtanga already, then you're going to believe it, at 4:30 a.m. And I just had to take a breath when they said, you come tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. And I thought, I didn't hear that. It couldn't be right, because I was already coming at 6:30 in the morning, which I thought, this is nuts. First I come at 8, now I come at 6:30, now they want me here at 4:30. And I don't know about you, but before I ever started yoga, 4:30 a.m. felt for me like the end of a nice evening, middle of the night, if the best case scenario. If the alarm went off at 4:30 in the morning, maybe it was to catch a flight, but it was certainly not to do physical movement. So then my mind is doing all of these mental loops. Oh my goodness, what time do I have to go to bed to get up at 4:30 in the morning to take a shower and be there and all this sort of stuff. So somehow I bring myself to practice at 4:30 in the morning. And you know what? It was amazing. The amount of quiet, intense introspection, the energy that's present when the whole world is sleeping and you're awake, devoting yourself to spiritual practice is something else. Now, I learned a long time after, that for those first mornings in India at 4:30 practice, that the reason why the spiritual practice of yoga is best advised to practice as early as possible, specifically in the hours before sunrise, between 4:30 and 6:30, or 4 and 6, just sort of depending on the time of year and where you are. But this specific time is what's called the Brahma Muhurta. And this is the time of day when the mind and the spirit are most attuned to the divine. So it's the time when you can go deepest into your inner journey of spiritual practice. So to practice during the Brahma Muhurta has the most power to evoke inner transformation. It's the time when your inner tapas, and tapas is the Sanskrit word for that kind of, the fire of purification, what we surrender into the fire, the difficulties, the sacrifices that we take on for the practice, the tapas, that which transforms us. So during the time of the Brahma Muhurta, when everybody else is sleeping, when you've already exerted great effort, great sacrifice to get on your mat, at that moment, before your mind wakes up, before the world wakes up, before the sun wakes up, before all of the organ systems in the body start to wake up, before you get hungry. At this time, the deepest spiritual practice can happen. It's extremely difficult to practice in the Brahma Muhurta when you have many other life commitments, when you have to, say, work a late job or something like this. So I had the wonderful opportunity of experiencing this special transformative time while I was in India, practicing with my teachers, and I had nothing else to do. So if you're thinking about the Brahma Muhurta and you're thinking, oh, there's no way I can practice at 4:30 in the morning. Gosh, I won't be able to, take care of my worldly responsibilities. Then my advice to you is to practice as close to first thing in the morning as possible. There are small elements of the sacrifice of carving out that special time that you can integrate into your practice every day. First of all, you can make a small commitment, which is to not engage on social media until after your practice. You could send no emails, no text messages until after practice. You could take a commitment to not engage with any sort of news, so you don't read any news until after practice. Some people like to read the newspaper first thing in the morning, and even digitally. You make a commitment, no emails, no news until after practice. If we need to read something to wake up the mind a little bit, we could make a commitment to read a spiritual book of some type so that the mind is kind of acclimated towards the practice in that way. There are other things that we can think about in sort of engaging in the sacrifice of practicing it as early as possible. We could go to bed a little bit earlier each night and see if that encourages us to wake up a little bit earlier. And we could make that commitment to get on the mat, even if it's just for a few minutes each morning, to create that daily discipline, letting that happen as close to, again, first thing in the morning as possible. We could make the commitment to not drink too much tea or coffee before practice, maybe just a little, just something to help you wake up, and then get on the mat as soon as possible. There are some things that can be very useful if we're practicing very early in the morning. You can put your clothes out so that they're just immediately next to your bed. You just get out of bed and put on the clothes that you're going to wear for practice. You can have your mat already unrolled in the spot that you're going to practice in. These are some very useful tools that'll make it easier for you to practice first thing in the morning. If you practice first thing in the morning, then the entire day will be set up with the spiritual intention of your yoga practice. The energy of the Brahma Muhurta will carry through as a commitment to make your life a little bit better. You'll notice days that you practice, days that you don't practice, and you'll feel the difference. There will be a different quality of how you show up and interact with the world. So when we think about what are the benefits of practicing early, those benefits eventually become worth the sacrifice. And this is tapas. It has the power to transform our life. We accept those pains which lead to purification, those pains of changing our life. We get a text message in at 8:30 p.m. that says, hey, did you want to come out? There's this awesome band playing. And then we experience tapas. I'm so sorry, I have to wake up early and do my yoga practice tomorrow. David Swenson, who is one of the foremost Ashtanga yoga teachers in the world, he has a really funny expression, and he says, don't let yoga ruin your life. So you may find that all those wonderful invitations from all those friends that are not doing yoga coming in late in the evening, you may feel, oh, yoga has ruined my life. But when you practice in the Brahma Muhurta and you enter the sacred, you enter into a space that few individuals on this planet enter. And it's almost like a sacred secret that keeps you illuminated from within, and it's totally worth the sacrifice. And you'll know that that fire is illuminated when the reflection of your life starts coming back to you, and people say to you, what do? You seem like you glow from within. And you'll say, I do yoga first thing in the morning. and then when people who've known you the longest say, I see a big change in you, you're so much more peaceful now, then you can say, I made the commitment to change my life and practice yoga. One of the things that my teacher, Pattabhi Jois, used to say is that if you practice yoga, yoga will show you the way. You might think it's impossible to change your life, to do the practice every day. But I know that if you catch that spark and you keep practicing, I know that yoga will show you the way. And all you have to do is trust that inner light, that spark that says, yes, I want to find that secret of the practice. I want to find that light within. If you keep following that, yoga will show you the way.